Thanks, Lauren. Now, the world's first pool suspended between two buildings has gone viral this week. Images of people bathing in the 35-metre-high glass-bottomed swimming pool has provoked mixed reactions. Rumours that not all of the building's residents are allowed to swim in the pool has sparked discussion on the housing inequalities in the borough. So Eleanor Sherwood spoke to the Labour councillor Aydin Dikerdem to find out more.
I spoke to Labour councillor Aydin Dikerdem about the viral sky pool in Nine Elms and what it says about the current housing situation in London.
I saw the clips that everyone saw on Twitter. There were a whole bunch of different responses to it. Some people talking about how scared they would be to swim in it, and other people kind of making more kind of political points about housing in London and things like that. And, I saw all of that and I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to talk about what has happened in Nine Elms. And I'm a Labour councillor, I represent that ward, and I have massive problems with the decisions that have been made coming up to over a decade now of kind of political decisions that led to Nine Elms having a incredibly low number of affordable homes and becoming a kind of symbol of the kind of failures of housing policy in London, right? And also the great tragedy of Nine Elms, which I think is this missed opportunity to use what was brownfield land, central London on the river, zone 2, to really transform the kind of lives of people that at the moment are desperately in need of affordable housing.
He pointed out previous financial decisions which have led to the current lack of affordable housing in the city.
It's all kind of a sign of Wandsworth Conservatives really prioritising developers over the public interest. Now, the argument that they make is we just need to build homes. The more homes there are, the more the supply, then everyone will be able to get a home. The problem is if we try and say, oh, you have to build this much affordable housing, developers don't build and we don't get anything. Wandsworth builds lots and lots of private market rent flats, like an exceeding amount. The problem with that is I think it's a false argument, because the homes that are being built are not homes that either one, people can live in, or two, their investments. It's a marketized response to housing, and housing is becoming like a financial asset that divides between those who own and those who don't. And the people who are genuinely looking for a home don't get one. So the more private homes there are, the more this asset boom grows. You need to intervene and set either rent controls or build the affordable homes that have affordable tenancies, because otherwise it's just, we're not solving the problem at all. We're just creating a worse one.
It has been said that the sky pool is not accessible to those who have shared ownership of the flats in the development, with one article published by The Guardian referring to its penthouses and pourdoors.
The sky pool is spectacle. The sky pool is saying, come and live in this building that has a sky pool, right? But it's not going to say, like, we also, because of planning regulations, have shared ownership tenants next door that don't have access to it, right? They're not going to say that to the people who are buying into it. So there is huge inequality in this country. And I think the sky pool is not visually a good representation of that, but I think it's bigger than that. Look, we wouldn't be complaining about the sky pool if Nine Elms was producing fantastic key worker housing and had a really a fundamental kind of public good approach to space, to community. There is an argument to be made that that's what you sign up for. You bought into shared ownership. It said that you weren't going to have access to these things. It's in the small print. I don't like that argument, because when you're living in a space with people and when your life changes, I think it's a structural issue rather than an individual issue. I think it's bad for the community.
He stressed the importance of using the sky pool's virality to highlight current housing issues.
We need to start building council homes again, social rented homes again. And the reason we need to start doing that is so that the lives of people who are like statutory homeless, who are living in bed and breakfasts, who are in temporary accommodation miles away from the borough, we need to be kind of prioritising changing that, because, that is unacceptable that we live in a city with this much wealth and yet people have to live like that. The second is it takes a strain off of the private rented sector, because the more social homes you have, the less people you have who are being forced into like really difficult private rented accommodation. If we just keep building market rate flats that are there for investment, or the rising tide just squeezes people out, I think we need to have rent controls. I think that's really important. And I think it needs to be really carefully thought through. It's terrible. This is about homes. It's about like the place you live, the place you flourish.
We received this statement from the council. Nine Elms is home to a thriving and growing local community of people living together in all types of housing who have chosen to make this part of London their home. The regeneration of this former industrial area is delivering 20,000 new homes, including 4,000 affordable homes, 6.5 million square feet of commercial and office space, plus a tube link to Battersea for the very first time, which housing developers in the area have helped to fund to the tune of £300 million. The construction phase has created 20,000 jobs, and there will be 25,000 permanent ones available to local people when the project is complete. Across the borough, we're exceeding our 5-year home building targets, including for the delivery of low-cost rent and intermediate housing. Over the last 5 years, we've helped deliver more than 1,800 additional affordable homes, while over the next 3 years, another 1,500 will be built. Over the coming decade, the Council will be investing £500 million from our own budgets in delivering even more homes for Londoners on lower incomes. There are also 2,500 new homes being delivered as part of the regeneration of 3 of our big housing estates, while our Housing for All programme of 1,000 new homes is prioritised for local residents and key workers, with 60% being offered at social rent levels or for shared ownership. This record on affordable homes delivery has been singled out by Mayor Sadiq Khan, who has described Wandsworth as a fantastic example of a London borough that's actually building the homes that Londoners need. In the case of this sky pool and who can access it, that was not a decision of the council. The decision was made by the housing associations involved, who judged that the extra service charges that their residents would need to pay would be unaffordable for them. The developer in question here has also been required to pay £40 million towards the cost of providing more affordable housing in the borough.